Hello and welcome to GUI.Dog. Oh yes, so what are we doing today? As a follow-up to the previous video about search engines and keywords. So I'm here on this Schema Validator. I got this from Frey. So I will link in the description to the part of the video where it talks about this. And this is how you can validate your website when it is live. And the particular one I'm looking at is for local businesses. So I'm going to go straight down, and there are examples here. So there's examples here with no markup, and then various different markups, schemas. And yeah, so I've taken that example and I've put it into, I just copied and pasted it into a file. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell RooCode in the way previously shown. So I'll read it out now. I want you to use best practice when implementing the schema markup for my entire website. Use the RooCode Playwright MCP and go to the local businesses, just what I've shown you already for examples. I've also saved an example file here, and I've given the path to the file which is on my computer. I want you to optimize for keywords like halal businesses, brackets directory, Muslim businesses, brackets directory, Islamic businesses, brackets directory, local businesses, brackets directory, using standardized and accepted forms used by search engines when categorizing my business directory website. Ask any questions necessary before proceeding. I'm on code, I'm in a fresh context window, and let's go. So let's see what it does. Yes, so in the previous video I talked about how you can, the easiest way of searching, I'll help you implement schema markup for business directory. Let me start by gathering necessary information. Read the example file, approve. In the previous example I showed the easiest way to show up on in AI searches is that tab at the top of your website, and making sure that your brand name is unique. And then when you search by that, then you will show up on the AI search. But that's particular, so someone would have to actually search that itself. Before I implement the schema markup, I have a few clarifying questions. To ensure implementing aligns with business, I need some information about your business directory. What is the live domain? Yes, that's the one. Physical. Access the Suhuf Directory. Have a physical business address, online, geographic coverage, organization type, corporation, no business online, no physical, go classify as organization. What's the second one? We have a physical address. For now, yeah, that one, that's good. Summary. Yeah, so make sure that your brand name is oh, oops, I didn't change to VS Code. I should change to it. Anyway, carry on. Yeah, make sure that your brand name is unique. Something that you can search by, and then that way it will show up on the AI search engine. But the thing is, it's not that's not necessarily what everyone else will search for. So the schema is a way of getting yourself up in the Google and other search engine rankings by making sure that your website has that kind of schema information. This is different to the schema SQL, that's your web database. They're both called schema, but one is about you showing up on the internet, and the other one is about your database. Now, to carry on with the fire analogy, like I was talking about Michael Saylor, and that Henry Ford. Michael Saylor says Henry Ford, he harnessed fire in a combustion engine, and then right, what we have in our hand is something like fire, and that is digital intelligence. And when it comes to your projects, you need to think, you need to think about it as like the legend of the first person who made fire by rubbing two sticks together, like the fire stick, and that's where the myth of Prometheus comes from. And basically, when you're starting your project, you need to think about it as though you're trying to get an ember, a hot ember, from wood or material that you have lying around, that that you didn't have to spend money on it, etc. You have to think about it like that. And if you never tried to actually start fire with a fire stick, you should really try. It's free. Just go outside, pick up some wood, try to rub it together, and see what you get. At best, you'll get a charred piece of wood, and but the principle is the same. So with your project, it's the same thing. You need to start with an ember, with materials that you already have in place, that you already have to hand. And then once you've got an ember going, meaning that you've got a little website working and something is going like that, you don't then grab a huge chunk of wood and throw it on top and expect it to catch fire. The analogy here is that you don't throw huge amounts of money into a black hole and expect a huge flame of fire to come out of it. You've got a small ember from materials that you have lying around that you didn't pay any money from. And then what you do is you take a note, let's say a dollar bill, and you're going to shred it finely into tinder, and then you add it to that ember. So you only spend a little amount of money. So for instance, you have a website locally on your device like we have right now. What is it doing? Oh, it's carrying on. Oh well, carry on. And so you have a website locally on your device, and it seems to be working okay. There's teething problems and things. Buttons are not working, but you can see that there's a way of getting around that. So then you spend a little bit of money to have it online, to have it hosted online, and that's your like taking a dollar bill and finally shredding it so that you have like almost like saffron like pieces, and then gently adding it to that ember to start a flame. Once you've got a flame, then you take the rest of the dollar bill and then you cut it into little pieces, and you add them slowly, just to make sure that you don't kill the flame. And that is how you proceed. I know the saying says you have to spend money to make money, but that is only in process, not beforehand. You spending money up front, expecting a return once you've spent 1,000. Oh dear. Yeah, so this is what happens. This is what I'm running out. I'm running out of credit. You seem to have run out of credits in your account. Yeah, so that was short-lived. I'm running out of credits. Unfortunately, with Venice, the system they had beforehand was that they would apportion the inference according to the last 7 days of use. So, I was drowning in inference, man. The only time, only once did I ever run out of credits when that system was in place, because there was so much inference going on, and I ran a whole BMAD, and BMAD, this is huge. It was just powering through credits like anything, and it just kept on going and going and going. And I actually hit the limit of that 7 days apportioning for anyone using the API. Then I want to call them names, but I won't call them names. Some people decided that they would rather be comfortable. They wanted certainty of how much inference they had. Now they have certainty that they don't have enough. You can't build wealth from fear. It's that simple. So because of their fear that they would run out, even though there was plenty at that time, our inference has been cut in half. So right now I'm working with half of what I had beforehand, and it is what it is. I can't complain. Basically. So back to the fire analogy. So you're not going to throw money up front, like logs of like big bundles of cash at the beginning, into a black hole and expect fire to come out of it. You need to do it gently. You need to go about it in a very systematic, slow manner, just like you're starting fire from an ember. So get your ember going first, and then you add gradually little amounts of money and try to get that flame going. And then once you've got a huge flame going, then you can pick up those bricks of cash, those logs, and throw them in, and in a roaring fire. And then that's when things are heating up and you've got something going. But I learned something from playing chess, and I'm not an expert chess person, but I would recommend it that when it comes to chess, just learning the basics, because it teaches you how to make decisions going forward. You have to take things into consideration, and then you have to think ahead, and you have to anticipate what is going to happen. That's what I understood from chess. When it came to kind of actually memorizing chess moves and stuff like that, then I thought that's beyond me. I don't want to do that. That's a waste of my time, really. And the second thing is trading. If you get a dummy account, you don't have to use real money. Get a dummy account and just learn a few basics about trading the stock markets and shares and crypto and stuff from a dummy account. Dummy account is not using real money. And there you would learn positioning size, that, when you're going to put a trade on, you don't put 66% of all your money on that trade, because if it goes wrong, you're going to lose all that money. So you need to put a very small portion of the amount of the total amount you've got for trading. And then it's over lots of wins that you make gains, and then the whole and the losses will be limited. And the same goes, and that's the principle I'm talking about right here, the fire stick principle, the legend of the first person who made fire by rubbing sticks together, the fire stick, and the myth that Prometheus came out of that, is that start with an ember, start with the materials that you have with you. It's a lie to say that starting a business, that you need money to start a business. No, that's another mind zuck that's been placed like a parasite worm in your head in order to deflect you from your power, your abilities. That, no, you start with the stuff that you have around you, those pieces of wood, you rub them together, you get an ember. Now, let's say, for instance, that God forbid, this website, it's a no-go. I put a lot of effort into it and so forth, and people don't want it. The market doesn't want it, and there's a reason why these websites don't exist, because the market doesn't want it. That's okay, because I haven't actually thrown thousands at it. But I know this man, he was a colleague at work, and he actually had this brilliant idea. His idea was that museums they give you a discount if you come as a group, if you come with someone. And then his idea was that but if you're an individual, then you have to pay the full price. So his idea was an app that connected people who wanted to go to the same museum, and then they didn't know each other, but because they wanted to go to the same museum, so they would save some money. And he spent a lot of money, and calling India and so forth for the devs up there, and he's having to tell them that no, they're using US times and US dates, and he's telling them no, this is in the UK and etc. whatever, this and that and the other. And then he spent thousands, and then eventually, after a little while, he mothballed it. Last I heard, he's shutting it down. And you don't want to be in that situation. You don't want to throw thousands at something, and then that's your savings from your work. And then you've got nothing to show for it except for the experience, obviously. But so start with an ember, start with what you have, and then position size. So you're not putting too much money that you can't afford to lose into that project. Of course, you do what Jim Rohn says. Massive action. If you're going to do something, do it in the thousands. When you put that website out there, look for thousands, because you don't know how much, what kind of it might be 0.01 that are responding. So you need to do it in the thousands in order to see what kind of effect you're having. Yes, do that, but that doesn't mean you put thousands of fiat money, currency, into it. You need, when it comes to money, do it with embers. Start with materials that you have to hand, free materials. Test the market. When you see that it's catching fire, there's an ember, I can keep it going, I can get this thing rolling, then yes, that's when you start to lay on the bills, the Benjamins, the dollars, the whatever, euros, yen, whatever is that you use for money. That's when you start to put it in. So if you like what you're hearing, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell and choose all. Give us a thumbs up, a thumbs down. Tell us in the comment section why you gave us a thumbs up, a thumbs down. If you want more, then click that link in the description. Fastlane Business Forum. Yeah, a 7-day free trial. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.